YouTube, Dark Magician of Team Sorcerers here, and welcome back to What If Wednesday. More back-to-back ones, and this one is a suggestion by Dark Magic Couple 85, actually one of 5 that he suggested, but one of these ones I already did. But here's one I didn't do. What if the Shadow Riders never came to Duel Academy to try and get the free Sacred Beast cards? Well, the other half of Season 1 would be a bit uneventful, otherwise. It puts into question whether or not the Sacred Beast would even exist. But I feel like they still would do, because, yeah, I feel like Kazuki Takahashi or Konami or both just wanted some god cards for the GX era, and you know, the Sacred Beasts would have to be introduced somehow. So it would be like either a bunch of other things would happen instead of the Sacred Beast plot, or someone else would come after them. I can't think who else would besides Yubel, but obviously the whole saga with Yubel would happen in Season 3. So I don't think anyone else would come after them, really. Although maybe Night Shroud would? I don't know. But if nobody comes after the Sacred Beasts in Season 1, then they'd get introduced in Season 3, because Yubel would try and get a hold of them instead and use them to try and defeat Jaden, whereas there'd have to be a completely different plot for the rest of Season 1, and then it brings about the question of Atticus. Atticus would probably still end up being missing. He wouldn't come into the picture, and then you know, Jaden's friend group wouldn't increase by 1, basically. And then, of course, with no Atticus around in Season 2, then you know, a couple of things about that would be different. I mean, there wouldn't be that whole duel between Atticus and Alexis, so that wouldn't happen. And then the duel between Zane and Atticus also wouldn't happen. You know, Chancellor Shepherd would have to get someone else to try and beat Zane, as he still believes Zane's being controlled by an evil force, but it wasn't the case. Zane just decided to be a dick, basically, because of all the underground dueling stuff. So, thinking about it, maybe Alexis would duel him instead. I was going to say Jaden, but there wouldn't be much reason for that to happen, because they'd have to make it so that Jaden would lose, and I don't know if the writers would want that to happen, really. So it would make more sense for Alexis to duel Zane instead and try and snap him out of it. Come to think of it, I don't know why this matchup never happened. I mean, it would have been interesting to see a clash of cyber dragons and cyber angels. But yeah, this matchup would make more sense, but it would unfortunately result in Alexis losing. Oh, but then I don't even know if that would happen, because at that time she was under the control of Sartorius and the Society of Light. But would Shepard still approach her anyway? Would she even care? Then again, this would make things interesting as well, because it seems that by defeating anyone who's under the control of the Society of Light, the control is just broken. Or at least that was the case when Jaden beat anyone through it. I don't know whether or not this would apply to anyone else. But it would be interesting if that did happen. Alexis duels against Zane, tries to bring him into the Society of Light maybe, but it doesn't quite work, and she just gets clapped by Cyberdark Dragon, and then she's free of the control of the Society of Light and then goes back to her old self. And that could have happened instead of Jaden dueling Alexis again and beating her. Otherwise, I don't know who would duel Zane instead. I guess it would still just be Cyrus, as or maybe even Chaz, because at that point Chaz was free from control. If I'm remembering this correctly. I mean, there's no reason for Hasselberry to duel Zane, really. Then again, I guess even if Chaz or Hasselberry did duel Zane instead of Atticus, then Zane would just beat either of them because of that plot convenience, or the Cyrus versus Zane duel would happen a lot earlier. I mean, maybe Shepard would approach Jade and Cyrus and Hasselberry and say to them, Zane's under the control of an evil force, and Cyrus would step up and just do it. Jaden probably would step up and do it, but it's one of those things we never get round to. And then other than that, season 2 plays out the same way. And then when we get to season 3, things play out in a similar way. But yeah, this time Ubel is able to get hold of the sacred beasts, and then we basically get a longer duel between Ubel, Jaden and Jesse. But I don't know whether or not at this point we'd see Armour Tile, because with introducing the sacred beasts, I'm not sure a combined form would be introduced that quickly. Um, though Armitar probably wouldn't make an appearance. I feel like maybe what would happen instead is one of the sacred beasts gets powered up to the maximum instead and tries to take out Jaden. I don't know, I mean, maybe Hamon and the tokens could be tributed for Raviel's effect, and he'd be powered up to 10,000 attack, and try to wipe out Jaden, but Jesse and Rainbow Dragon intervene, and it's still enough to open the gateway back to their own dimension. And then, of course, Armitar gets properly introduced when Ubel Jesse duels against Adrian. So that's probably what would happen. And also with Atticus not in the picture still, it's one less person who gets sent to the stars. And then, of course, Night Shroud will properly show up in season 4. And then the duel where Jaden and Night Shroud would face off in season 1 would instead happen quite early on in season 4. Only this time Jaden has Neos and the Neospatians this time, and yeah, that plays out a similar way. Maybe Neos makes an appearance, I don't know, but I don't think we'd see the appearance of Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon, the anime version, that is. Or even if we did, then maybe Atticus would find a way to survive the attack from Wild Edge, and then from that point on it would play out a similar way to how the last couple of turns of the second duel, between the two of them, where the anime version of Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon makes an appearance, and then Jaden wins with Neos that way. But yeah, again, the whole duel probably wouldn't take place in a volcano. It would take place in the abandoned dorm. Only this time, just a whole load of stuff happens. It's revealed that Night Shroud is Atticus. The mask falls off, his face is revealed. And there's a tearful reunion between Atticus and Alexis after all this time. But rather than falling unconscious, like in season 1, Atticus is barely conscious, but those memories are able to be unlocked, because that was the whole purpose of their second duel in season 4, to unlock some memories, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that all happens, and then of course there's the whole thing with Honest and Truman playing the dragon deck and using 5-headed dragon. So after that, Night Shroud gets separated from Atticus, and then the rest of season 4 plays out the exact same way as in the actual timeline. So yeah, this is what I think would happen if the Shadow Riders never came to Duel Academy. But it's like, would there even be any Shadow Riders? Or would they just be too busy doing something else, maybe? Or do they pose some kind of other threat in Season 1? That's something I'm a little unsure about, but yeah, hopefully that answers that question. So with that, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed.